The epic debate, the traditional IRA versus the Roth IRA. Where should you put your money? Thanks for joining today. If you are a returning person, welcome back. If it's your first time watching this, welcome. I hope you learned something from today's video. Obviously, we're going to be covering what we think is better in the financial planning world, the Roth IRA or the traditional IRA. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is the retirement cheat code. I'm JD White. So in today's video, we're definitely going to talk about the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA. I'm going to drop links in the description down below for two videos that I've done. One, what is a traditional IRA? And two, what is a Roth IRA? Spend some time with those. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about the technicalities, the little nuances about the two accounts. I really want to focus on what makes the two accounts different and in which scenarios each might be most beneficial to you. Which leads us to the question, where the heck should I be putting my money? And the reason that this debate comes up a lot in the financial planning world or the retirement world is because a lot of times, if you are eligible to contribute, you have to choose between a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA because there's a combined maximum annually for the two of them. And so a lot of times clients are left scratching their heads about, do I put all my funds into traditional IRA, the pre-tax bucket? Do I put all my funds into the Roth IRA, the after-tax bucket, or do I split between the two? So let's start with our first couple, Tony and Pepper Stark, who are married. They file taxes together. They are still about, let's say, 5 years out from retirement. They are in their high earning years. They make $400,000 modified adjusted gross income a year. So they are effectively in the, I'm going to look at my board here and cheat, the 32% tax bracket for federal taxes. So pretty high tax bracket. Now let's say that we're building out their financial plan and the income that they are planning to live on is $150,000 in retirement. Well, what does that mean as far as taxes go? Well, at $150,000 modified adjusted gross income, I'm cheating again. They are now in a 22% tax bracket. If we do not grow the assets and we just look at tax brackets, knowing that they're in a 32% tax bracket and they're going to be in a 22% tax bracket when they're in retirement, it makes sense to kick the can down the road, right? We don't want to pay taxes on 32% if we don't have to. So by putting money into the traditional IRA, we can defer those taxes until down the road, and then we can pay it at a 22% rate. Now let's take the same couple, Tony and Pepper Stark, and say that let's say Pepper loses her job. And now with just Tony's income, they are making $200,000 and they are now suddenly in the exact same tax bracket now that they would be in retirement. Now, what do we do? Well, it kind of depends. Really, you could do whatever you want. If you're not growing the assets, then at that point, the debate becomes, what the heck are tax rates going to do? Do we think that tax rates are going to go up in the future? Do we think they're going to come down in the future, which is honestly pretty unrealistic given that we're at historical lows? Do we think they're just going to stay the same? And then we can do our analysis off of that. Here's the kicker. If you are attempting to grow the assets or the funds in those accounts by way of investing, which I assume that most people do, you have everything changes. Everything gets thrown out the window. We have to remember that if they're in a traditional IRA, the IRS is waiting to get their grubby little hands on your money. So if you're in a 22% tax bracket, you might grow at 10% a year. Well, shave off all your income taxes on that growth because the IRS, if you live in a state with income tax, there's a lot of different parties that can get their hands on that money by way of taxes. versus if it is in a Roth IRA, even though you didn't get the tax break up front, you already paid taxes on it. They can't tax you again, even if you grow it. As long as those withdrawals are qualified, which is in that other video, then you're good to go. So that becomes a really big part of the debate, and the big part of the recommendations that we give to our clients is if Tony and Pepper Stark are growing their assets, then do we want that growth to be partially taxed down the road at whatever rate that might be? Or do we want to have those funds completely paid off? And then all this growth and compounding growth now is all yours to keep. So again, not a clear answer on this, but typically if we think that taxes are going to be similar, neutral, or higher in retirement, then the Roth is the clear winner. If we're really going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement and there's no questions about it, like that 32% to 22% or lower tax bracket drop, then absolutely kick that can down the road. We can always convert in lower years. There's some strategies that we can take advantage of as situations change. But at the end of the day, the Roth IRA is going to win in most scenarios, but not always. There are scenarios where it makes sense to try and do the traditional IRA. If you like this video or like all my videos or the channel, if you could do me a favor, click that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. And if you like this one about traditional versus Roth IRA and hopefully learn something from it, go ahead and click that thumbs up button for me. Hope you guys are learning stuff from this, and we'll see you on the next one.